Hello and greetings from across the Media Multiverse. Today I am having a look at the 2023 film Wonka. And what a delightful movie it is. There's magic aplenty for both the young and the young at heart. Timothy Chalamet, or is it Timothée Chalamet, excels as the young chocolatier Willy Wonka. He is, just as I imagined the character, the older character, in the Roald Dahl books, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, which was the sequel to the Chocolate Factory. Furthermore, I could see Chalamet turning into Gene Wilder, who played Willy Wonka in the 1971 movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. The first thing to know about Wonka is its visual style and the storytelling. I could easily see Roald Dahl style running through here. You've got the inventiveness of the incomprehensible magic that Willy Wonka has in the books. You've got the daftness that he has, but there is always that nice, quiet character that just means well, which also is in the books. But the villains are good and they are well represented by Matt Lucas, Matthew Bainton, and Patterson Joseph, who were just brilliantly daft and villainous throughout as members of the Chocolate Cartel. Now, although they themselves were good, I did feel that the actual villainy lacked something. Remember, in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Roald Dahl has a wicked sense of humour that he knows kids will tap into. So, for example, he had the children in the chocolate factory turn blue, get sucked into pipes, stretched to ridiculous heights. But that inventiveness didn't quite come off in the movie. But that is not to say the characters and the actors were bad. It's just I just wish they had a bit more OTT villainy about them. That is basically all I'm saying. But in terms of the OTT-ness of it all, the joy on the villain side of the thing has to be the national treasure that is Olivia Colman. Who knew that Olivia Colman could be so evil? Now, I have to admit to loving the Scooby Gang in this movie, the people that Olivia Colman has down in the dungeons of the hotel doing all the drudgery and everything. They all bonded and they were just superb, and I loved their individual stories. And I was so pleased that the endings that they were given, and hope that those endings do not stop them from returning for any future sequels. And we know that at least one sequel is currently in preparation at this point. And one character I especially love to see more of is Carla Lane, who played Noodle and was such a joy throughout. And hopefully, but I'm sure will be, is to see more of Hugh Grant as the Oompa Loompa. He just stole the scenes he was in too. One thing that I did find as I was watching Wonka was I was remembering reading the book Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and the way that Willy Wonka just basically becomes a recluse. And when you look at the young Wonka here, as portrayed by Timothée Chalamet, It is so sad that someone who is so open to humanity, he is so outgoing, he is such a force for fun and oomph, becomes a recluse by the time that Charlie wins that golden ticket. But that's more long term rather than this film. I also had to say I was a bit disappointed with the songs. Now, people who know me know I am not a fan of musicals per se, but there are some musicals that I do like. For example, Calamity Jane, I think is one of the best westerns ever made. So I'm not going to say it's a musical and chuck it out the window. But apart from the songs that were taken from the 1971 Gene Wilder films, all the original songs that were made for Wonka, I felt were just a bit below par. They weren't memorable, they weren't interesting. And yeah, that's what the fast forward button is for on the remote control. But that said, if you read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and you read Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, you will see that there's loads of songs that are in there. And so it did plug into the Roald Dahl way of thinking. And overall, this is a good, fun, enjoyable film, which, as I said right at the beginning, I know that people who are young or young at heart will just enjoy. Good family fun. Full stop. End of. And those are my thoughts on Wonka. Have you seen it? If so, grateful for any comments you may have. Yeah, so until next time, may your news be good news and happy times and places. Farewell.